Hello, Enid, and welcome to another Pets of Enid. My name is Larissa Sloan, and with me today is Erica Huffman. And
Panzer.
Panzer. Now, Panzer is not available for adoption because this is Erica's baby.
Yes, this is my dog, but she likes to come with me every now and then because she helps socialize a lot of the other dogs at work. So she comes in handy. She has a job.
She's soft.
Come here.
I love her.
Thank you. She's a good girl. Sit.
Yeah.
Okay. So today we're going to talk about one of our city ordinances, which is outdoor shelters, especially with how cold it's been recently. We've had a lot of phone calls regarding animals that have been outside, and people are concerned for their well-being, which is totally understandable. But in the city of Enid, it is not illegal for you to keep your animal outside. So I'm just going to go over our ordinance for outdoor shelters, just so people have a better understanding of what's required if you choose to keep your animal outside. That way, it'll hopefully turn down some of the calls that we're getting for animals who do have what they need for outside. And then people, will hopefully call in the ones that don't have what they need for outside. So, shelters are an appropriate... I'm just going to read from the ordinance, and then we can discuss it a little bit. Sit. So shelters appropriate to the local climatic conditions for the particular species of animals are required if the animal is kept outdoors. So for a dog or cat, a potbelly pig, or other small animal, including fowl, it shall protect against the cold and the heat. So a cold weather shelter shall include a moisture-proof and wind-proof structure of suitable size to accommodate the animal to allow retention of body heat in the winter. It shall be made of a durable material and shall be provided with sufficient quantity of suitable bedding material to provide insulation and protection against cold and dampness and to promote body retention or retention of body heat. A warm weather shelter should provide air ventilation and shading from the sun. So, if you have several big dogs outside, you can get away with having a large dog house as long as they can fit in them comfortably. If you don't have a big enough dog house, then you definitely need to have multiple dog houses for each dog to fit in comfortably. A good way to bed the inside of your dog houses is with straw, not hay. Straw can be purchased at a lot of the farm stores in town, and it's not very expensive. But you definitely need to bed it pretty heavily. A lot of the times, even if you cover up the door, that's fine. The animal can get inside, and they can kind of burrow in there to kind of help insulate them. Whether it be like one of the igloo dog houses, that's fine. You can do a wooden dog house as long as it's good enough to protect them from if it's snowing or raining or something like that. That way water can't get inside, or snow or ice or anything can't get inside. They just need to be able to be protected from outside. We do get a lot of people who call and don't realize that there is a shelter out there. A lot of people will use sheds, which is perfectly suitable if you have a shed for your dog to go into, but you just need to make sure that it stays warm enough on the inside. There are heaters that you can purchase that you can put inside of a shelter, and then the animal has to have access to fresh water. So it is cold outside, it is freezing. There needs to be either someone going out there periodically to put fresh water out there if it's frozen, or there's little heated water buckets or water bowls that you can purchase from a lot of the farm stores or even pet stores that they plug in, but they will keep the water from freezing. So that's definitely most important. And then obviously access to food. I can put a whole bag of dog food out for my dogs, and they're going to eat the whole thing. So,
oh my goodness.
So as long as they're getting fed, like they need, then that's perfectly fine. We don't expect there always to be food outside because my dogs would eat all of it, but they definitely need to always have water. That's very important. And it doesn't matter how long your dog is outside. If your dog is outside for, more than just a potty break, then they need to have some type of shelter outside. The shelter has to be maintained in a clean and safe condition. So it needs to be in a way that is going to prevent waste from accumulating. So if your dog is outside all the time, then you need to be going out there periodically to, pick up the messes that they make, their feces and everything, because that's how a lot of animals get sick.
Mm-hmm.
They can get parasites, they can get all kinds of things. So they need to be living in a clean environment. So otherwise, that's all that's really required. So if you know of someone who is not keeping everything like they should outside for their pet, then definitely call it in. But if they have access to a suitable shelter and water, then that's what's most important. It's getting very, very cold right now. We woke up and the wind chill was like -4.
I was told it was snowing.
Yeah. It was actually snowing whenever I walked in, and I was out at like 6:30 this morning, and it was snowing. So
yeah, my card said it was 14.
Yeah.
To me, that's personally just a little bit way too cold, and so I would think that'd be way too cold for an animal. But we were talking earlier, and you said that they're
Panzer does not mind it. She has a thick coat, not this coat, but her hair is very thick, and she very much likes the cold weather. So I have to beg her to come inside.
Really?
Yes.
Wow. So
this is her type of weather.
So if you remember, a few weeks ago, I took in a beautiful blue heeler, and we have started calling her Daisy, and she's doing a great job. So do you believe Daisy would be okay outside in 14-degree weather? Or is that just a bit too much?
It is cold. It's up to what you think that your dog can handle. Obviously, some breeds, like a boxer or pits, and they have very short, coats that do not have any type of insulation underneath them. So it's definitely something to take into consideration whenever keeping your animal outside. Panzer is obviously going to withstand cold a lot more than, a pit or a boxer or a Doberman or a Chihuahua or something like that outside. But, Huskies and breeds like that are made to be living in sub-zero temperatures in Alaska. So this feels like paradise to them.
Oh, that makes sense. What's the big white dogs, the
Samiids, the big white fluffy ones.
They're huge.
Yeah, all those dogs
are set.
They definitely, this is, compared to our Oklahoma heat in the summer and everything, this is paradise to them. So I'm sure they really appreciate it. You can't force a dog to go inside of a doghouse. You just have to offer it to them. Because I know that I don't leave my dogs outside, but I know if I offered them a doghouse, they would not go in it because they just like to play all the time. But as long as it's offered, that's all that matters. Because you can't force an animal to go inside there. So, but otherwise, that's all that's required for the shelter, for the outdoor shelters. So if you come here, if you know of a dog or any type of animal that is not having a shelter outside, definitely call it in so we can, stop on by and inform the owners of our city ordinances. Otherwise, if they do have access to a suitable shelter, then I know a lot of people don't like it, but it is not breaking the law. So we can only enforce what the laws are. So,
oh my goodness.
But otherwise, if anyone has any questions, they're always more than welcome to give us a call. Our number is 249-4910. They can always message us on Facebook, but a quicker response would definitely be giving us a call, or you can stop on by and talk to us. We're located at 1200 South 10th Street. Here in Enid, and we will always be more than happy to talk to someone. If they have any questions about the ordinances, we're always here to answer questions. If there's anything after hours that someone is concerned about, they are always more than welcome to call the police department, and they can have a police officer go out. But we do always have an officer on call in case of emergencies. So yeah, if it is after hours, then it's always best to call the police department, and they can make that decision. Whether to call out a police officer or have one of our officers go out. But that's all.
That was short and simple.
I hope it was simple.
Well, I hope that answers a lot of your questions or things that you might see in the community that might bring some concern to you.
Yeah, and if anyone has any questions on other ordinances, the ordinances are always posted on the City of Enid's website. Or, if it's just animal ordinances in general that people have questions of, we're always open to talking about them and, wanting to inform the public on what goes on here in Enid.
And then if you have any questions, just feel free to call admin or call the office, and we'll be more than happy to help you as well as much as we can and get you to the right departments and the right sites and things like that to get you all that information. Other than that, it's been really good doing these shows with you, and we look forward to seeing you next week.
All righty.